What if the reason you stay home isn't laziness, isn't fear, but something your brain actually needs to function properly? Think about it. You know that one friend who always cancels plans, always not feeling it, always maybe next time, always some reason to stay in. From the outside, it looks like avoidance. Like they're flaky, like they don't care enough. But what if that's not true at all? What if they're not avoiding people? They're protecting their energy? And if you're someone who feels a strange sense of relief when plans get canceled, or someone who gets more excited about a quiet night in than a loud night out, stay with me. Because by the end of this, you might finally understand yourself in a way no one has explained before. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who genuinely prefer staying at home, the ones society casually labels as boring, antisocial, or missing out. But science tells a very different story. Here's the reality most people never think about. Not all brains are wired to seek stimulation in the same way. Extroverts recharge through interaction, through noise, movement, conversation, unpredictability. Being around people doesn't drain them. It fuels them. It gives them energy. But for introverts, and especially for people with a strong preference for solitude, the exact same environment works in reverse. Every conversation, every social interaction, even a good one, slowly drains their mental battery. Not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. And eventually, they need to step away. They need silence. They need space. They need home. Because home isn't just a place. It's the only environment where their nervous system can fully reset. Psychologists describe this using something called the optimal arousal theory. Some people need a high level of external stimulation to feel engaged and alive. Others need much less. And too much noise, too much interaction, too much unpredictability actually overwhelms their system. So when someone prefers staying home, it's not because they're lazy. It's because their brain is trying to stay in balance. But here's where it gets deeper. For many people, staying home isn't just about recharging. It's about control. Think about what the outside world feels like. Unpredictable conversations, loud environments, last-minute changes, social expectations, small talk that feels meaningless, situations where you're expected to perform, react, respond, adapt. That's a lot of variables you don't control. Now compare that to home. At home, you decide everything. The lighting, the noise, the temperature, the pace, the people, or the absence of them. There are no sudden surprises. No pressure to respond instantly. No need to filter yourself. And for people with anxiety, high sensitivity, or an overactive mind, that level of control isn't a luxury. It's stability. It's what allows them to finally relax. And here's something that might surprise you. Research consistently shows that people who enjoy solitude tend to be more introspective, more self-aware, and often more creative. Why? Because when you remove constant external stimulation, your mind turns inward. You start processing, reflecting, connecting ideas. That's why some of the best ideas don't come in busy environments. They come in silence, late at night, in your room, in that quiet moment when there's nothing pulling your attention away. So staying home isn't doing nothing. It's mental work. It's emotional processing. It's clarity forming in the background. But despite all of this, society tells a very different story. We're constantly shown that being out there is the ideal. Going out, socializing, being surrounded by people, always doing something, always visible, always active. That's what gets labeled as living your best life. And anything else looks like you're falling behind. But what if that definition is wrong? What if your best life doesn't look loud? What if it looks like a quiet evening, your favorite food, a familiar space, and zero pressure to be anything other than yourself? That's not sad. That's not a lack of life. That's self-awareness. But we also need to be honest about something else. Because not everyone stays home for the same reason. For some people, staying home isn't peaceful. It's heavy. It's not a choice. It's a feeling they can't push through. Social anxiety, past experiences, rejection, emotional exhaustion, or even that quiet internal voice that keeps asking, what's the point? And in those cases, home becomes two things at the same time, a safe place and a cage. So the real question isn't just do you like staying home? The real question is this. Do you stay home because it restores you? Or because leaving feels like too much? Because one is peace, and the other is hiding. And knowing the difference matters. But for those who genuinely feel at their best at home, who feel energized, calm, and fully themselves in solitude, they're not missing out. They're just tuned differently. They don't need constant stimulation to feel alive. They don't need noise to feel something. They find meaning in things most people overlook. The quiet routine in the morning. The same spot on the couch. The way the light changes in the room as the day ends. Small details, subtle moments, things that don't demand attention, but reward it. Psychologists call this a low stimulation preference. It means your brain doesn't need chaos to feel fulfilled. Your internal world already provides enough depth. So if you're someone who turns down plans without guilt, who genuinely enjoys being alone, who feels more like yourself in silence than in crowds, you're not broken. You're not behind. You're built for depth in a world that's addicted to distraction. Subscribe, because the next video won't just explain you, it will show you what to do with it. And you don't want to miss that.